Hello everyone, welcome back to Momma Jo's Kitchen. Hey, you may have seen the other video. I'm not sure if I'm going to upload this one or the other one first. But the other one, I had a couple different things going on at the stove at the time. The other recipe, plus what's in this pan right now. I have about, it's less than 4 pounds because I had bought one of those great big 4-pound bags of frozen strawberries, and I had taken a little bit out for a dessert. So I would say there's probably either 3 pounds or 3.5 pounds, and I wanted to use them up. So I thought this would be a great way to use them up. I have them in this pan, and I have been letting them cook away. And what I'm doing is I'm reducing it down because they were still in a semi-frozen state. I had taken them out and put them on a baking sheet, and I had it sitting in my refrigerator overnight. So they started to thaw, but they were still slightly frozen. So I wanted to cook a lot of that water off. So it's been slowly cooking away here, and it has reduced down a good bit. So what I thought I would do is I have some ready, pie crust, that's refrigerated. And I have 2 baking pans. I'm trying to see what I did with them. Oh, I put them down here. Okay, so what I thought I would do is I would take one of them and I will get them in this pan. And then I will get it, fitted, and ready for the filling. But I'm going to partially bake it because I want, I don't want a soggy crust. And since we're not using fresh strawberries, and even though I am cooking this down, and I am adding, sugar and some lemon juice, a pinch of salt, and I'm making a cornstarch slurry to thicken it, because this is going to be a strawberry pie. This is going to be more like how you would do a cherry pie or a blueberry pie. Some people will take their frozen fruit, not thaw it at all, and they will put it in flour and put it, in their pie crust and bake it. I don't want to risk doing it that way. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to cook it down. So this is kind of like a, I'm winging it, which sometimes I do that with quite a lot of my recipes. Is I just have a thought in my mind how I want to go about, doing it. And that's the way I'm going to do today's. So I'm going to get the pie crust ready. I'm going to get the oven turned on, and I'm going to poke, some holes in it. And then I thought I would take this other pie crust and I'm going to set it on top. And depending on the weight, I might put a little weight in there, something that will be oven safe. And that will also help, to kind of, so the crust doesn't puff up because it's not filled. Now, if we filled that crust without baking it, it depends on how liquidy, your filling is, you could end up with a soggy crust. So I don't want a soggy crust. So that's what I plan on doing that. This has reduced down enough that what I'm going to do is just add a pinch of salt. I would say that's about a 1/4 or an 1/8. That was probably more like an 1/8. It's not a lot. And that helps bring out the flavor of the strawberries. And we're going to add about a cup of sugar. It does need some sugar. So let me get that stirred in here. Okay, now there's still some bigger pieces of strawberries in here. They were kind of like whole strawberries, but they have cooked, broke down a little bit during cooking. And here I had a 1/4 of a cup of lemon juice, and then I have 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. So I'm going to add it to this, and it's going to thicken this up. Let's see if I can get all of it in here. All right, I'm probably going to have to bring that back up to a little bit of a boil. I'm probably going to have some extra filling, but that's okay. I will save that, put it in a jar. That would be great to put over some ice cream or something, if you have any left over. All right, I'll bring you all back when I get my crust done up, because I have a top crust too that I might, I might just cut out some shapes and just place it over the top, because the only problem with when you pre-bake your bottom crust, a lot of times you can't get the top crust to stick. But I'll see what we can come up with. And I like, more like a traditional top and bottom crust pie. And I'll bring you back and we'll see how it turns out. Hey, I brought you all back just to show you how it's starting to thicken up already. This is what it's looking like. And if you look at the picture of what it looked like in the beginning, see how it's starting to break down, but I still have chunks here. Okay, so I want this to be nice and thick. I'm debating, I might add a tablespoon of butter. It just depends. I know, like when you do canning, if we were making jam and we were adding gelatin, but see, gelatin does not do well when in the oven. It just does not do well. But a lot of times you add a little bit of butter, and what that does, that helps with the foam, so you have less foam. But we're making a pie. But I was thinking a little bit of butter might, enhance the flavor a little bit. So I'm going to give it a taste to make sure it's sweet enough. I think it's going to be plenty sweet. And I'm going to, after it's to where I think if it's thick enough, I'll take it off and let it set, and we'll get the our pie crust ready. All right, folks, I brought you back to show you. It is nice and thick, but I feel more like I have sauce more than I do actual strawberries. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to improvise. So what I'm going to do is I'm still going to use this. But over here, I've got my crust setting out, and you have to give it about 15 minutes to come to room temperature. You cut the end off, and then you can unroll it, and then I'll get it fitted into this pan, and I'll do a little trimming if it needs to be, and flute the crust or whatever, and then I'm going to put this on top, and I put a little weight here. This is oven safe. And I'm going to par bake it in the oven. I've got my oven preheating right now. Let me see. I want to say it was 425. I think it was 425. And I have another crust here, and I'll unroll this. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to do like a lattice design or cut shapes out of this for the top of the crust. Then what I thought, since I don't have any other strawberries, I don't want it to be just a liquidy pie. I looked up in my freezer and I have some blueberries. So I think I'll take those frozen blueberries and I'll coat them with some flour to make sure, they get a good coating of flour. And I will mix it with some of this to put in the pie. So it will be a strawberry blueberry pie. All right, folks. So that's where I'm going with it. Hopefully it'll turn out. We'll see. Hang in there. We'll see the results. Alright, folks. I have the bottom crust par baking right now in the oven for about 15 minutes. Then I'm going to take it out and I'll take the top off. And if I want to make it a little more brown, or if I think it's not quite done enough, I might stick it back in there for a few minutes. But I wanted to show you what I decided to do with the top crust. I've unrolled it, and this is a real sturdy straw. This is a Dunkin' Donut straw. So if you ever get drinks from there, these straws, they're almost like reusable. They're that tough. Not like a McDonald's straw. and they're pretty long. So as you can see, I placed it here and I used my pizza cutter. I've got some edges here that I need to cut, but just wanted to show you. I wanted to make small strips. That way I know I have enough if I want to do the lattice, you know, where you weave the, like a basket design on top of my pie crust. That's where I'm going to go with that. So even if I can't get it to stick to the bottom crust, it'll be pretty on top with the weave design. So that's where we're at. And like I said, I think I'm going to take those frozen blueberries and I'm just going to put them in a bowl, and I'm going to just throw some flour on there, maybe a handful or like 3 tablespoons, just enough to really coat the blueberries. And then I will pour some of that filling and the blueberries together, and I'll get it in a crust, and then I'll put this on top, and then we'll get her in the oven and we'll get her baked, and we'll see how it turns out. Okay, this is what it's looking like. You could take a little egg wash, but if you do, you know, since these strips are really thin, you know, some of your blueberry is going to bubble up through the pie crust anyway. So, I mean, see, it's already browned here, and I tried to get it to stick. I don't know how well this is going to stick, but what I'm going to do, since it's already brown, I'm going to put it in the oven, and I have a pie crust shield that I'm going to put over the top so it doesn't get too brown around the edges. But I think I'll take a little bit of water and just take my finger to go across there. Oh, I see here where I should have went under instead of over. It doesn't really matter. That was the first strip that I did. So you go in and out, in and out, in and out. Missed one here too. But that's not going to really matter. Michael's going to devour this. And then I'm going to sprinkle maybe some sugar, because the blueberries, you know, even though I sweeten the strawberries, the blueberries might be a little tart. But Michael likes tart. But sprinkling that extra sugar on top will help, you know, with the crust and sweeten it a little bit more. And we'll get this in the oven. And I'll keep an eye on it, and I'll let you know how long, you know, I'm going to leave it in the oven for. I got a lot of these little strips left over, you know. You could make something out of that if you left over if you want. But yeah, here we go. This is what it's looking like, and the main thing is the taste test. So we'll see how Michael likes it, and we'll be back.
How you doing, YouTube? Welcome to Momma Jo's Kitchen. Today we have a dessert treat. I couldn't eat it yesterday. She was making it yesterday. So today, here we go. Look at that. Strawberry blueberry pie. Here we go. Definitely a summer treat. Very good. You can taste the strawberries. You can taste the blueberries. She got sugar on the lattice crust, so to speak. Excellent. On a hot summer day, this is a good way to cool down. Absolutely delicious. The texture is perfect. The crust, everything about it, really good. I love the combination of flavors with the strawberries and blueberries together. 2 thumbs up. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out the video where Momma Jo makes this. Check out all Momma Jo's videos. Come back and get you some more goodness. Definitely make this. This is going to be a great summertime dessert. Thank you. Good night.